Well, welcome back to the podcast or my YouTube channel. I've got both. And today I want to talk to you about the logistics of healing MS. And you're probably on a mission, at least I hope you are, to heal your MS diagnosis. You can reverse it. I've done it. I've helped other people do it. You have total control over your diagnosis and your healing. You can heal all of your symptoms, and I don't care if you're in a wheelchair or not, you can do it. It just might take you a little longer if you have mobility issues, but that's okay. You just have to be persistent and keep going. You can heal, and you will. You just need to keep positive and keep on that trajectory of knowing that you're going to do it. I'm totally behind you. So I talk a lot on this show about the logistics of healing, whether that's a diet, whether that's supplements. This could be exercise, self-care, or mental health. But there's a few other things that might put you on a different trajectory. And I just want you to be aware of these things, and I want you to be able to be in control. So let's talk about this. So there is a truth to while you're healing, your body is changing, and there's things that you will experience as you go on your healing journey. It can change your whole life dynamic. It can change your relationships. You might change your job, and these are most likely positive changes for you. So today we're going to take a deep dive into the socialistic and psychological ways that healing MS can put you on a life change that you weren't expecting. So we're going to explore the imposter syndrome of what healing can bring, along with the identity crisis of leaving your sick self behind, but that's what you want. And then how to stand ground when your medical team or conventional doctors might gaslight you during this process. And I want you to stand your ground during this time. So let's start with something that's incredibly shocking, and it could be painful, with the friction that happens when you start healing. So first of all, when you first are diagnosed with MS, you might feel lonely. Many of us feel lonely, and I know that I did. And it was a complete shock to my system, not only my physical system, but my emotional and mental system as well. I thought, I can't believe this is happening to me. It took me a while to let this diagnosis set in. And then naturally, many of us look to social media and other community spaces where other people are experiencing the same thing. But I want you to be careful of the social media that you become involved with, because so many of them are negative. And if that's the case, I really want you to either stop showing up at that community or you drop that community altogether. You need support, and you need people that are on your side. And you also need people in your group to tell you that healing is possible. I got to tell you that I've been kicked out of so many MS groups when I start telling people that healing is possible. And so many people still don't believe that this is true. And you don't need medication to heal. And I've proved this time and time again. Not only is it true with myself, but I've interviewed so many people who started out with medication, and they figured out that the medication was actually making them worse. So after they started changing their diet and their lifestyle, they got better, and then they discovered, you know what? I'm going to drop this medication because I'm feeling better without it. But here's the strange and heartbreaking truth, that when you're healing your symptoms, and when you start posting about how you're feeling and how you're getting better, so the atmosphere will change with a lot of these groups. So suddenly, the people that embraced you might start distancing themselves from you. You might be accused of pushing toxic positivity. This has happened to me many times. You might be told that you're selling false hope, and you could get kicked out of that Facebook group. And you know what? That's okay. You cannot convince everybody that healing is possible, and you'll get pushback from some people. A lot of people will tell you that healing from MS is not possible and that you will always have MS, but don't believe it. These are just people that are on a negative path, and you can't change the opinions of everybody, unfortunately. But doing this can also put you in a state of psychological isolation. I started feeling like this. It's kind of a lonely middle ground. So you might feel you're not completely healthy like the rest of the world, but you're no longer sick enough to be a part of the group. Then you might start experiencing imposter syndrome. And then you start asking yourself, am I allowed to celebrate this? Of course you are. Am I betraying the people who are still struggling? No, you're not. If you want to keep spreading the good news that you're getting better and that your symptoms are starting to disappear, this is totally up to you, but you might get some backlash in the process. And then I want to tell you, there are Facebook groups out there that are totally supportive, and your joy is totally allowed. So the negative comments that you might be getting is from people that are experiencing their own fear and their own experience and their own belief. Although you can have deep empathy for those who are still struggling, but you still should celebrate your own joys of your healing journey. So I want to go into the second layer of this journey. Chronic illness can actually put you into that survival mode, which is a survival mindset. And when you live with MS for years, it becomes your identity. And I want you to break away from that identity. And I've talked about this too. If you have an MS t-shirt or an MS Warrior t-shirt, I don't want you to wear that t-shirt anymore, because then you're putting an identity on yourself that you have MS. And I want this to be in the past for you. I want you to start working on healing yourself. And this is kind of funny. I've talked about in the past that you should turn that t-shirt, that MS t-shirt, into a cleaning rag, because I want you to put MS behind you. Eventually, you're going to get there. If you follow the diet and you change your lifestyle, and this is body movement, your mental health, and your self-care. These are the 4 pillars that I teach, and you can absolutely get there. Just don't give up. This sounds wild to say out loud, but transitioning from being the sick person to a healthy person can be terrifying to some, because they have identified themselves with being sick and being taken care of. And now they know that there's a lot of things that they're changing, and probably more things that they're going to have to change in their life when they become that healthy person that they're supposed to be. So being healthy actually comes with a massive responsibility. You might say, now that I'm healed, or now that I have energy, what am I going to do with the rest of my life now? What goals did I abandon that I have to face now? But I want this to be exciting for you. I want you to think about all the new opportunities that you're going to have in your life. Your relationships will change. So if your partner, your friends, or your parents were in a specific role playing caregiver to you, and all of a sudden they don't have to do that anymore, it puts a brand new dynamic on that relationship. This power dynamic can change, and it puts a brand new perspective on this reality. So everybody has to figure out, okay, what role am I going to play now? I want to tell you to give yourself some grace. You are shedding some old skin that you don't need anymore. It's okay to mourn the years of illness, because that's something that you're used to. And it's okay to feel anxious about the future. So moving from surviving mode to thriving mode can take some time, and that's okay. Just start making small intentional choices about what you want to do in your future. but this should be exciting for you. I also want to talk to you about your doctor. So, when you're starting to feel better, then you make that appointment with your doctor and you tell them that you changed your diet and certain lifestyle habits and that you're feeling better and some of your numbness is going away, your brain fog is starting to lift. And then you tell them that you've decided that you don't want to be on medication anymore. They could gaslight you. They might say, okay, well, that's great, but I think you should still stay on this drug. Or if you don't like this drug, let's give you another one. And I want to tell you that doctors do not get training, most of them, in diet or lifestyle. And it's the pharmaceutical companies that come to their medical schools and teach them how to prescribe the drugs because the pharmaceutical companies want to make money and they want to be in control. But I want to tell you, I've heard so many stories of doctors that say, okay, I see that you're getting better, but I don't support you with the fact that you want to stop taking your medication. I want you to be the CEO of your own body, and I want you to listen to your intuition. So if you truly feel like you want to stop your medication, then you can. There's so many people that are experiencing lots of side effects that is making them worse. So I really want you to think about that. And our bodies are not designed to be on full-time drugs for the rest of our lives. They're just not. We are not supposed to be sick. So let's paint a picture of yourself going back to the neurologist's office and you get another MRI. And your MRI results show that your lesions are either stable, they have shrunk, or some of them could be completely healed, or all of them could be completely healed. I've talked to others who this has happened to, and they floored their doctors. And then you tell your doctors with excitement all the changes that you've been making, the diet changes, and all your lifestyle habits. And then they might look at you with the patronizing shrug, well, MS is unpredictable. This just happens to be some sort of remission for you. And it's probably a natural remission. Keep taking your medication, they say. And they say, don't get your hopes up because diet might help a little along with lifestyle changes, but this is an unpredictable disease. So this is what gaslighting is. And I also want to remind you that over 50% of doctors that prescribe medications are getting paid extra. These pharmaceutical companies are paying the doctors to push these drugs on their patients. How do I know this? Well, there's a website, and if you go to it, it's called openpaymentsdata.cms.gov. And you can actually type in your doctor's name, and you can see what kind of payments they've been getting. And I've shared this a lot, but I want to share it again, that my neurologist that I had back in 2015, she was getting paid a lot of money. And she just recently retired in 2025, I believe. And it's no wonder why, because she's made millions of dollars from these pharmaceutical companies over the years. So in 2019 and 2020, she made over $1.5 million for each one of those years. In the last year, she made over $850,000, and then she decided to retire. And she is not a very old person. She is not older than I am. And it's easy to see why she retired. Now, I know not all doctors are getting paid like this, but when most of them are, how can they really be supportive of your health and really listen to what you're doing and be happy for you and support the fact that you don't want to take any drugs anymore? This is what we are facing in our conventional world, unfortunately. So keep your chin up. Keep being positive and stay on your path to healing because it's gonna work. So keep in mind that reversing MS is so much more than what's on your plate. You're reinventing yourself as well as you're healing. It takes immense courage and work to outgrow the sick person that you were. So if you're feeling any weight psychologically of the healing process, know that you're not alone. You're breaking boundaries, and this isn't always comfortable, but I want this to ignite a fire within you. I want you to heal with joy, and I want you to share your story to as many people as possible, because so many people need to hear it. And I am holding your hand. I am supporting you on your journey. And I want nothing but the best for you when it comes to your outcome with this disease. I want you to leave this disease in the dust, like I said, and heal everything. You have the power to do this. So if you like this message, please share it with somebody you know. Keep going with a smile, and you will hear and see me in the near future.